told my husband I told you so and started laughing at him when we got the paternity test results. So I had my daughter about 6 weeks ago. She came out with this super light blonde hair and these pale blue eyes. I'm talking almost white blonde. My husband and I both have brown hair and brown eyes. The second the nurse handed her to him in the delivery room, I could see his face change. He got real quiet and just stared at her. We got home from the hospital, and that same night, he cornered me in the kitchen while I was trying to make toast because I hadn't eaten anything real in like 2 days. He straight up told me he wanted a paternity test. I was so tired I could barely stand up, still bleeding, everything hurt, and he's asking me this. I tried explaining that babies can be born with lighter features that change over time. My mom was blonde until she was like 4. His own cousin was born with red hair that turned brown. He didn't want to hear it. He said if I didn't agree to the test, he'd file for divorce. Just like that. So I said fine, do whatever you need to do, because I was too exhausted to fight about it. The next morning, he packed a bag and left to stay at his parents' place. Didn't even help me get the baby to her first pediatrician appointment or anything. Just gone. 3 days after he left, his mom called me. She didn't even ask how I was doing or how her granddaughter was. She just launched into this whole speech about how if the test came back and the baby wasn't his, she'd make sure I got nothing in the divorce. She used the phrase taken to the cleaners like 3 times. I was sitting there holding my daughter, who wouldn't stop crying, and I just hung up on her. My sister moved in to help me those first few weeks. She was the one getting up with me at night, making sure I ate, doing the laundry. My husband called once to ask when the test results would be ready. That was it. 1 phone call in 3 weeks. The results finally came back yesterday. The lab called me in the morning and said we could pick them up afternoon. I texted my husband and he showed up around 2. He didn't bring anything for the baby. Didn't ask how she was doing. Just walked in and sat down on the couch next to me. I handed him the envelope because honestly, I wanted him to be the one to open it. He ripped it open and pulled out the paper. I watched his eyes scan the page. It said right there in bold letters, 99.9% probability of paternity. He was the father, obviously. His face went completely pale. His mouth dropped open a little and his eyes got huge. He looked like someone told him his car got totaled or something. Just frozen there holding this paper that proved I'd been telling the truth the whole time. I couldn't help it. I started laughing. Not even a mean laugh at first. Just this burst of tired, relieved laughter. And then I said it. I told you so. He snapped his head toward me and his whole face changed. He started yelling about how I was being cruel and mocking him during a difficult time. A difficult time for him. I'd just spent 3 weeks alone with a newborn, recovering from giving birth, while he got to sleep through the night at his mommy's house. But sure, this was hard for him. My sister heard him yelling from upstairs where she was putting the baby down for a nap. She came down and just stood there in the doorway with her arms crossed. He shut up real quick and grabbed his keys, said he needed to clear his head and left again. Didn't even look at his daughter. 2 hours later, his mom called. She laid into me about how disrespectful I was for laughing at him, how he was going through something traumatic and I made it worse. She said I humiliated him and that I should be apologizing. I told her that maybe if she raised a son who trusted his wife, we wouldn't be in this situation. She hung up on me. She's been texting me since yesterday. This morning I woke up to 4 messages about how I'm a terrible wife and how hurt my husband is. One of them said I clearly don't understand what it's like to have doubts because I'm not the one who has to wonder if the baby is mine. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. My husband still hasn't come back home. It's been a full day now since he saw the results.